Hello, it's mid-January here, and sometimes January brings with it some of us slipping into a bit of a funk. I have 10 tips that I'm going to share. These are tips from my 57 years of living and, of course, doing a little bit of research online. There are all kinds of things you can do. First of all, recognize that it's normal. So the good news is I recorded my video out walking in our local area so I could share some of the beautiful local landscape views with you. The bad news is, however, that my microphone only worked half the time. Just like life, we're going to make a couple adjustments. I will use the clips when my microphone was working from outside so that you can enjoy the beautiful view. And for those clips where my microphone wasn't working, we'll use the retakes right from this seat. Tip number one, if you're in a funk, one thing that is very helpful, and I know this from experience, is get moving. Get your body moving, whether it's a walk, a run, any type of exercise. The benefits from exercise have been shown over and over. This is nothing new, but it is something that is reliable and can make a difference in how you feel. Don't even think of it as exercise. Just think of it as getting your move on. You will feel the effects almost immediately. The second thing to do, get outside. The benefits of being in nature are huge. It is so good for our mental wellness. You can see my other video on the benefits of nature. It doesn't, again, have to be fancy. You can go for a walk along a path. You can go for a walk on in your local roads, your local streets, your neighborhood, but just get outside, breathe the fresh air, take in the world around you for 10 to 15 minutes. Sometimes makes a huge difference. Another thing that's really important if you find yourself in a bit of a lull or in a bit of a rut is don't be so hard on yourself. Talk gently to yourself, talk nicely to yourself. If a friend came to you and said, "Oh my gosh, I had all these plans when I started the new year. I was going to start exercising, I was going to start eating well, and I haven't done anything." You wouldn't say to that friend, "Oh my God, you're such a loser. You always start things and never finish them. You always have these great ideas and never actually follow through on them. You're such a loser." You would never say that to a friend who came to you, who was feeling down about kind of getting off track with their New Year plan or not doing what they thought they would do. So, why would you ever say it to yourself? Be kind to yourself. Stop judging yourself. Okay, moving down our list to tip number 4. Pick a word for you. Maybe you started out the year, maybe you had a word of the year, maybe it's not working out. Doesn't matter. But pick a word that, I don't know, that creates some kind of focus, that triggers you to focus when you hear the word. Prompt you to move forward and not stay stuck where you are or stuck ruminating about the past. You can see my other video that I did just last week or maybe 2 weeks ago on picking a word of the year. It can keep you moving forward. Okay, these next 3 items are not new. You're probably going to roll your eyes, but don't roll your eyes. Well, you can roll your eyes if that makes you feel better, but at least listen to them and hear me out. One is eat well. Our nutrition matters, and this is something I'm still learning a lot about, and I don't know, my interest is peaked in this now. The more I read about sugar and processed foods and the effect it has on our body and our brain. Some of the stuff that we eat makes us feel terrible. It causes inflammation in our body. It contributes to stress and buildup of cortisol, all that stuff. And so, and I'm not somebody who eats very really clean and only eats clean. I eat processed foods and I eat sugar. I am becoming much more aware of it though, and I do notice that I feel different when I'm eating clean with as little processed food and as little sugar as possible. So we are what we eat, apparently. Eat well to feel better. Another really important thing to do, and this is so important for so many things, for learning, for taking in new information, learning a new skill, and just staying healthy overall, but is stay hydrated. This is huge for both our physical wellness and our mental wellness. Our brain, I think, takes up 2% of our overall body weight, but consumes 20% of our overall energy, and it needs to stay hydrated, or otherwise it gets a little bit sluggish. And when it gets sluggish, we start to feel sluggish. So stay hydrated for your body and your brain. This next one is so important, and it affects everything we do, and that is sleep. practice good sleep hygiene. And I know that is much easier said than done. Two things that I've been doing to help with my sleep: getting up at the same time every day, or as close to the same time as I can. And the first thing I do within that first half hour, an hour, is to try and get daylight or sunshine in my eyes. And this is from the Andrew Huberman podcast. You can check him out. Just the information is fabulous. I've been doing this for several months now, and I am someone that has struggled with sleep for many, many, many years, and it's making a difference. It's making a big difference. Don't get me wrong, I still struggle with sleep sometimes, but this daily routine of getting up and getting daylight sunshine into your eyes when you first wake up within that first half hour or an hour makes a huge difference. And the time frames are different. On a sunny day, I think it's 5 minutes. On a cloudy day, you have to be out for 20 minutes, and on a rainy day for a half hour. The other thing for sleep hygiene is screen time. I used to read on my iPad at night, and it disrupts our sleep patterns. And I wasn't totally on board with that. I didn't really believe it, but my experience has been absolutely, it makes a difference. And so get off those screens an hour before you go to bed. And if you wake up through the night and can't sleep, don't pick your phone up. Do not scroll. Not to mention the bad mental health effects it has just from doom scrolling, but just that whole light issue is a biggie. And remember, sleep affects everything, especially how we feel. It's worth the effort. Okay, 3 more to go. Do something kind for someone else. When you're feeling kind of in a slump and not really feeling like you want to do anything, let alone do something kind for someone else, that's when it's most important to do something nice for someone, because kindness is contagious and it makes us feel better. And again, there's tons of research and studies on this, that simply a kind gesture to someone else, making someone else feel good, makes you feel good. So dig deep, even if you don't feel like it. Try to be a little creative in thinking about what you can do to be kind to somebody else, and it will make a little bit of difference. It won't pull you out of the rut, but it might nudge you a little bit out of the rut. Do something kind for yourself as well. One of the most important things, if we're feeling lonely, if we're feeling in a rut, if we're feeling down, is to stay connected to people. Our overall sense of connection is huge. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be large numbers of people. It can be simply contacting a friend, a family member, going out for coffee, going for a walk, whatever it might be. But staying connected to other people is so important. They say that we have a loneliness epidemic. People are very lonely, even though all of the social media that we have and online stuff. But our sense of loneliness and the sadness that comes from that is at an all-time high. And one of the fixes for that is to stay connected in real life with people. You don't have to have tons of friends, but you need to try and get out and interact with people. And I know sometimes the world can feel very people-y, and it takes a lot of effort to get out there, especially if you're an introvert, and I'm right there with you. I get it. Even when you don't feel like it, you have to really dig deep to try and find the energy and really understand the importance of making the effort to stay connected with people. The last thing that I have is do something that lights you up. There is nothing better than spending time doing something that you totally enjoy, provided it's a healthy habit. And I don't think I have to say much about that, but pick a healthy habit, a healthy hobby that lights you up. Maybe it's crocheting, maybe it's knitting, maybe it is, I don't know, reading can be one for people, but something that lights you up. Mine is spending time in nature and photography. And again, if you've seen any of my other videos, I'm not a great photographer, but I love it. I love getting outside, watching the birds and trying to capture their photos. When you're doing your thing that lights you up, really just be there. Just be present with it. Don't be worrying and stressing about the other things going on in your life. Let it be your little escape. Tell yourself that you're going to take this 10 minutes, 15 minutes of time just to do something that you like to do. And if you're hearing this and you're rolling your eyes and you're saying nothing lights me up, if you don't have a hobby, that is okay. There's all kinds of help out there to find one. So just Google, how do I find a good hobby? What are things that you like to do? This is a great time to start experimenting with different things. Maybe pick up a camera. Your phone is a great camera. Do some street photography, do architectural photography if that's something that might appeal to you. Find something that you can kind of escape with and just makes you feel good. This channel is about lead your living, your wellness, your work, your leisure. And in particular, your wellness and your leisure are huge when it comes to finding a hobby. Try to find the beauty in the winter. And again, I am not a medical person. I am not a expert. I am not a clinician, not a therapist, or an expert of any kind. If you need more information, please always discuss with your primary care provider. And there are some great resources on YouTube. This is one channel that I love to watch. She is a clinical therapist and has such great information. And this is one of her episodes on winter blues and seasonal affective disorder. Here are a couple of my other videos that may be of interest to you. And if you found this at all of interest, please give me a like, leave a comment, and or subscribe to my channel.